spend your weekend with us. We really appreciate it. Another way we will be sitting at home and doing nothing. Again, thank you very, very much. I think it's absolutely wonderful you find the time and energy to kind of see what we're doing here and how we trying to change the world. And the world over reconciliation, it's the most exciting part of the world. And when we're looking at the cargo movement and using the air, it's not just exciting, it's really a game changer. Talking about our company, we in the business more than 30 years, and kind of traditional, let's say, aviation OEM. We, in some way, very unique, because today in the United States we're only one company who producing or capable to produce type certified airships, FAA type certified. And we're only one company who got all the elements of flight in the air. The normal category airships, the aerostat system, what we supply to US military and outside of the United States, and same time the kind of innovative cargo airships. And it's kind of classical question is, if airships are good, where they are. And I was coming today to office and I look, yeah, I don't see them. There's the reason. And this main reason was always, you can imagine, if you got the cargo airship, right, and you bring the, let's say, 10 ton, 100 ton, doesn't matter. Somewhere you float your cargo, you got the static lift, 10 ton or 100 ton. And you need to compensate another way, you will be reach the Mars before Elon Musk. And the approach, kind of traditional, historical approach, was compensate with ballast. But in practical operation today, you cannot do this. Because outside of the just ability to have the ballast, what you can put, whatever, the sand or water or something else, you can imagine this monster on the ground, what is like in the air, and you need a lot of people to hold the ropes. Right? A lot. There was a number of different concepts going through the years. But, for example, one of those become his name hybrid airship. Right? Basic idea was, great, why we not change the shape? Why do we not saying helium will compensate for weight of a structure, but at the same time, we can create aerodynamic lift, and this will compensate for weight of the payload. But of great concept, we don't need to go deeply in the technical unknowing. But the main important point, this concept requires runway. And when you're coming and saying, it's killing overall idea of the cargo airship. Because cargo airship is attractive because you need infrastructure. Right? You can say, hey, I can leave from anywhere and deliver anywhere. But if you got runway, and the airship 1,000 foot long, well, it's pretty big runway. Right? Of course, it's kind of making this concept not exactly powerful. Back in early 2000s, US government was, after our experience in Afghanistan, after First Iraq War, right, it's kind of realized Department of Defense got needs for mobility. Mobility would allow to go with concept 4 to 5. In other words, you can pick up, let's say, main battle tank, platoon somewhere in Kansas and drop in the desert. Because the experience was showing how it depends our ability to project power just simply from logistics. And in Afghanistan, there was got a lot of issues, especially when Turkey kind of closed the airspace for us for a while, and we was need to go through Pakistan. There was only one road and only one way, and everything was coming. So Afghanistan never left because there was no way to bring anything back. But the Department of Defense has done a number of the studies. They was coming to conclusion. We cannot create cargo airship where you can control buoyancy. It's kind of a dream story, right? It's the dream story, okay, I got some kind of switch. I upload the cargo, flip the switch, and I'm heavy. The concept of the logistic based on the airship is becoming absolutely unreasonable. But there was a number of the competition. We was lucky ones. We kind of win this competition. No, of course, there was Lockheed and Boeing and all kind of traditional competitors, Northrop Grumman. But I believe that we was lucky because the only one was in this competition who was got practical experience. He was clearly understanding the challenges. The company with much bigger resources. What they was lacking compared with us is practical corporate knowledge. This was a lot of kind of coming fast to this right decision. And we'll talk about how the system worked a little bit later during the tour. But in reality, everything very simple. Right? If you have what you need to control the buoyancy, just reduce the volume of the helium, but in reality, when you're reducing volume of the helium, right, you're picking up outside air. And it's basically your outside air becoming ballast. Right? And if you think about concept of submarine, the same concept. In submarine, you want to go down, you pick up the water from outside. In the cargo airship, you picking up the air as your ballast. And if you want to go up, you just blow the submarine ballast tanks, push the water out, and same here, you just push air out. Very, very simple. Right? It's kind of nothing complicated. But the trick always was, when people were thinking about this concept, and they started thinking about 100 years ago, right? This concept was describing as wrong direction because weight of compressor and weight of the storage for the whatever it's helium or air, doesn't matter. And it's common sense, right? It must be very heavy. And in reality, because it's a wonderful example how we think inside of the box while we think we're going outside of the box, because you always start looking at this and you're talking about high pressure, right? 1,000 psi, pressure vessels, very heavy. But in reality, because law physics, it's law physics, and PV constant, if you go with smaller pressure, say 1 atmosphere, or 5 psi, or 10 psi, you don't require anymore big compressor. You can use just simple blower, and all system becoming very, very efficient. But common sense was holding from realization. You don't need high pressure. You can achieve same result, but much faster, with less energy, and your pressure vessel, of course, much lighter, and etc., and safety. What is made this was our approach. And moving forward, again, we was become for the United States government sole source on the cargo airship technology, and with cooperation with the Department of Defense, with DARPA, with NASA, we built our prototype. Right? It's Dragon Dream. Yeah, it's here. Right? I can just push as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
Aeros craft technology incorporates a suite of advanced technologies: internal ballast system, low-speed control, rigid hull structure, multi-chamber landing system. When seamlessly integrated, these technologies create an advanced variable buoyancy air vehicle. These technologies can operate without needing external ballast and vertically take off and land at maximum payload. Conventional airship requires ballast and large ground support. Hybrid airships require a runway and ballast exchange or venting of buoyant gas. This is what has kept airships from becoming cargo airships. To make the Aeros craft light, the compressed helium tank valve opens and helium pushes air out. To make the Aeros craft heavy, helium is being pumped into the compressed helium tank, and the outside air replaces the helium. The Aeros craft is able to vertically take off and land with a maximum payload, offload cargo without needing external ballast, and operate while in hover mode.
Yeah, it's kind of depends. Everything very, very simple. When you realize it's simple, life becomes much, much more easy. I mean, we build a prototype. Yeah, it's kind of some of our line. It's all Skydragon Airship. It's normal category. It's blimp. Right? Simply saying, it's blimp. And yeah, the electrical variable buoyancy or aircraft is the car. Right? And we're kind of working on 3 models, starting from small one, what is exactly what we built as prototype, going all the way to 66 ton and dreaming about something very, very big, like 244 ton. 244 ton. It's in some way, we have this showing the logistics. And again, what you see here is was impossible 10 years ago. It was impossible, I mean commercially impossible, from the market standpoint 6 years ago, until COVID. COVID changed everything in logistics. And COVID, the most what changed, we start moving ready products. We're not moving, in some way, we become consumers just in time. Again, because of the Amazon and everything around. It's before there was no concept of just in time for manufacturing, right? And you wanna keep the spare parts, everything just delivery in the time. But now we as consumer enter the food chain. We want now immediately, and we start moving to product. The new requirements for logistic, right, and we can see this every single day. It's with all the stories when all the Angeles was covering these containers, empty containers. It's required ability to deliver from point A to point B, from shipper to consignee. We start looking differently on the timing, right? We say, before we was compare airplane flying with 0.8 Mach, the truck going with 50 miles per hour. And this was how we was looking of the means of transportation in logistics. But we're not looking anymore. Now we look at timing from picking up to the drop. And this timing, nothing to do with speed, what you're moving, because airplane, it's required airport. You need to bring to the airport, a truck, whatever you have. You need the flow, change the TSA, change the containers, flying to another destination, everything opposite, flow, TSA, custom, and it's become very, very long process. It's to ship from China to Los Angeles, it's can by air freight, it can take sometimes 5 days. An airplane is covering this distance in 12 hours. But all these elements. And in addition, second what was happening, we start running out of the space in airplane, in the trucks, before we got the full payload. Today we're looking at the semi-trailers on the roads, they carry the pallets. Inside you can find 12 pallets. But each pallet can be weight only 2,000 pounds. But it's all, because the floor space in the trailer is very limited. You can put only what you can put. Same I mean, it's everyone who ships something by FedEx or any overnight, they're paying for volume weight. It's not really the weight anymore, it's the volume weight. Because everything what we're moving become low density. We're moving the cell phones already in the boxes. It's already packed. We're not moving any more parts, heavy parts. And of course, this development overall logistics structure based on the distribution of warehouses. I mean, we all in Los Angeles, we all know how many warehouses we can count around San Bernardino, right? And of course, we all know the famous 710 from port up to the San Bernardino and all this traffic. We start moving a lot of volume, what never done before. And warehouses. Before it was store, now it's warehouse. And with this understanding, it's commercially was becoming one more challenge. Airship need to be never land. This would make your airship effective, right? Because if I'm land, I'm big. But if I'm staying in the air all the time, and I'm able to offload and load when I'm in the air, it's game changing. I can pick up from the parking lot and drop on the roof or swimming pool, it doesn't matter. But I don't need to be land. And with this understanding, we start kind of our work. And of course, there's number of the different approach compared with traditional aviation legacy. Because we built airplane today, or Airship today, and same way as Wright brothers was doing, or Zeppelin was doing, right? It's only a big building, and we're moving inside of this building. It's some kind of Henry Ford conveyor, only whereas the airplane moving through the building. And it's making very expensive because everything in aviation, we always design for performance, speed, range, altitude, because it's traditional, it's coming from World War II. All airplane need to fly fast. New requirements recently was becoming is fuel consumption, right? It's become critical, and you can see every generation of new airplanes about 10-15% saving fuel compared. But you start talking about logistics with Airship and start talking about thousands of them. It's a question how we can build them fast, and I want to use the word cheap. Right? This one, it's when we need to come in and rethink complete how you manufacture them. In aviation, the most expensive is quality control. Everything else can be done pretty fast. But inspector is the human, right? You cannot put machine doing the inspection, and we all know about unfortunate events in Boeing these days. Because you need to design your aircraft for inspection if you want to build fast and safe. You're supposed to have approach what allow to make your inspection very fast and very easy. And again, it's human. It's not the machines, because only human can decide it's safe or not safe. Anyway, it's a lot of interesting new territories, and we're very enjoying here because this kind of allowed to us to look differently with understanding of commercial market. And basically, what we're trying to say is we're covering with our vehicles, we're covering all three phases of delivery. It's last mile, the middle mile, and of course first mile. Right? The first mile is the big vehicle, 244 ton, 66, and 9. Talking about, and I will show to you later, talking about this concept, airship need to be always in the air. See what absolutely recently happened, right? Federal Aviation Administration recognized drones as aircraft. Because when we're talking about commercial, your main definition is FAA ready to certify. Right? If FAA ready to certify, you can build commercial vehicle. Because we're not ready to certify, good luck to you. And with drones, everything changed in our concept, right? Because now we're saying drone is the shuttle. On the last mile, this drone was flying from Airship and delivering the package to your backyard and flying back. And some of you familiar with FAA Part 107, 108, with FAA commercial operation for the drone, there is one requirement. The remote pilot must see his drone all the time. When I put the drone pilot in Airship, and drones only flying up and down, now I comply with the FAA regulation, and I can commercially operate on existing regulatory base, Part 107 and upcoming Part 108. Next one, we come and say, okay, why not make this drone able to carry 2,000 pounds, 3,000 pounds? Great, of course it's easy, right? Today, right, it's only integrational test, there's no challenges, it's integrational. But now I can start moving the pallets. I'm moving the pallets from warehouse to business, or from warehouse to warehouse, this kind of middle mile. And again, I don't need to land. I don't need to land, and now I got something very efficient. It's these shuttles between me and me as Airship on the ground. I got the pilot who can see the drones all the time, complying with the FAA, and it's opening something new in logistics. And I'm trying to say, if we implement this, it's become in logistics the same as, like give you an example, right? It's before the internet, all information that was gotten in libraries. We was going to the libraries, we was ordering book. It's something physical we was need to open. It was infrastructure. Internet coming, it gives to us freedom. We can receive information without relying on infrastructure of the libraries and everything else. This mobile communication with cell phone, right? Before we was looking for wires with this fax machine or the phone pay booths to communicate. Cell phones arrive, we can communicate everywhere, right? With smartphones, etc., etc. Same we're doing here. We're creating cargo transportation without relying on infrastructure. Basically, you got information, you got communication, but last very important portion in the mankind development, growing, right, is transportation, logistics. We have solved this kind of opening. It's like internet, it's like mobile communication. We don't know what we can do. It's what will be opening, how people will be using it, we don't know. But if you can show the sky, dragon trip. And the video of the Aeros, not the prototype. AIAA, for example. Well, this prototype, it was tested, and you got the general operation. It was a complete success. Here's the commander of Transcom, General Pleasure.
Last year, follow the development of the hybrid airship. In fact, we also were very pleased to see the successful flight that Aeroscraft completed last year in their hybrid airship out in California. We're encouraged by that successful flight, the demonstration of that technology. We're also encouraged by a recent report that I received from them out at Aeroscraft of the interest in the commercial sector to develop this capacity and this capability. I can see utility in the future
to utilize something along those lines, especially when I look at some of the things that we've had to respond to, as an example here in the United States. To be able to move great quantities into areas where you don't need a lot of infrastructure, and something along those lines. So we'll continue to monitor it. We'll continue to encourage the development of the hybrid airship as I continue to go forward.
So you could see it as something that we could actually use in the future if it was a viable tech, if it was proven, if it was built.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Thank you.
And you kind of realize globally, it's no one close to us what we will say will achieve here. It's a lot of companies in China, Europe, UK, and Canada. They're trying to create cargo airship, but for a number of the reasons they're very, very behind of us. Again, we took very orthodox approach. We start with airship, with certification, with the customers and everything else. This is what we was talking about, right? How fast moving, it doesn't matter. It's just about the time to deliver from point A to point B. And in one point, right, we was kind of coming and saying, okay, great, we already built the best airships. There's no one close. We're in competition with ourselves. Yes, we can build another airship a little bit better, but you know, it's more perfect, but you never can build perfect aircraft. It's impossible. You can every time make a little bit more perfect. And we was coming and saying to ourselves, it's time to build industry, because airship is great, but if you're not able to build thousands, hundreds of them, it's just toy. Another prototype, but it's not real industry. This is what we're doing right now. Basically, we're creating the industry. No longer cargo airship. And again, as I was mentioned before, talking about different approach to manufacturing, complete different approach, ability of the inspection, ability to bring to the customer what they need. And of course, in this view, you're coming to conclusion and saying, be the operator. And before we always build something and sell. We have to train mechanics, pilots, but we will just build and sell. Now with this approach, with cargo airship, mechanics saying, no, now we build and we operate, providing the service. After the concept proof and start working together, after this, yes, there will be cargo airlines, but from beginning, we are the manufacturing operator. We got some kind of tour prepared for you, but I don't know if any question. Yeah, please.
I have a question. So we just had to pay a lot of money to move a satellite from Los Angeles to the Cape, because
Yes.
on the road it takes about 8 days, and the only company that can do that for us is Antonov, not a military program.
In Wisconsin.
And so, you know, that's a market, right? Large.
Yes, and you're absolutely right. And one of our customers is ULA. Oh, what was? Okay. It's my wife was under control. One of our customer and investor is United Alliance. ULA problem. It's kind of funny problem, because they built the rockets for so many years and was able to deliver it to California or to Cape all the time. Until they got the Project Casper. Project Casper is Amazon project competing with Starlink. Again, Amazon believe they got better satellites and they're staying longer time, but ULA win this project and they developed the Vulcan rocket, was certifying the Air Force in the beginning, end of the last year, but finally they started making the Vulcan launches. Right? And Atlas, maybe another 2 launches, and that's it. Well, because Vulcan is showing the capacity. But the problem, how deliver this to Cape? What they was doing, and a lot, because the Castle project required a lot of launches. It's kind of access to the space becoming almost like 2 launches a week, because you need to bring so many satellites. But traditionally what they was doing, there's between the ULA manufacturing facility in Alabama and Cape, there's water. They built, they call them rocket ships, right? Big ship, barges, what was going through river navigation until Mississippi River become a little bit shallow. And it's killed everything, because they cannot bring, doesn't matter what you can do, it's no way to bring to Cape. I'm not talking about, of course, California, right? It's kind of dream. So it's exactly what happened. And we got booster, the payload, first stage, and yeah, there's our customer who exactly got this challenge. Well, of course, they're not talking about like wind blades, right? It's what today is wind turbine. It's, to make efficient on shore, you need to have blade 80 meters long. You cannot move it. Doesn't matter what you're doing, it's 80 meters, it's impossible. It's, but of course, if you're going the smaller size, your wind energy is inefficient. It's, offshore it's efficient only because the blades are big. But onshore, right, you can grab from offshore the wind turbine already all developed and put onshore, but how you move the blades. And it's kind of traditional project cargo. What you also read, that's what Antonio was doing. Oh, but there's always not been big market, right? Because another way someone will build a cargo airplane. No, Antonov can, right? Because there's a couple left in Russia, a couple in Ukraine, but as cargo airplane, it's gone. Boeing was trying to do C-17 as commercial. Nothing happened for a number of reasons, military airplane. Basically, the cargo airplane as designing 747 not in production anymore. There's nothing with what you can open north, right, like in the 747 freighter, nothing exists. But the needs is huge. You're absolutely right. It's, the satellites, and just from Europe to bring to Kiev or whatever else, they're big. And they want to be bigger. And you cannot put them in cargo door on any airplanes. It's impossible. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely, absolutely.
What limits your altitude?
What limit?
What limits?
No. We designing the vehicle on the cruise altitude up to 9,000 foot cruise altitude. Of course, it can go to 12,000, right, or higher, but why limited because of the, you need to, after 12,000, you need to pilot pressurization, oxygen. Yeah, after 9,000, you need oxygen, but it's easy. But going higher.
Just pilot.
Yeah, it just, because it's commercial vehicle, we need to comply with the regulation, and we need to, I got it.
Igor, I noticed that you have been certified by LBA in Germany.
Yes,
What about EASA?
Oh, it's
Also,
yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
yeah.
After they create, it's the LBA, the lead on Airship. But now it's the race type certificate. Yeah,
Can
please.
you talk a little bit about safety? What could go wrong?
A lot.
How do you mitigate?
Naturally, because, and I need to probably a little describe how aircraft fly. This shape, it's not about aerodynamic lift at ground level. And this vehicle is vertical takeoff and landing, right? It's basically, when it's close to the ground and we make it take off or landing, you're dealing with light and aircraft. As we're going higher, we're compressing our helium, we're taking, because helium will expand, we need to constantly compress. As we're going higher, we're compressing helium, we're becoming heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. For this, we're compensating with this kind of shape. Because in our situation, speed is our speed establishing altitude what we're flying. And our altitude establishing speed. I cannot fly at 9,000 foot, I need to have speed. But close to the ground, I'm naturally buoyant. It means if I lost all my engine, everything, I'm not crashing, I'm becoming just balloon. I'm becoming as balloon and all your safety requirements, it's a little bit different compared with, I mean, the load's different, the crash load's different, because it's naturally balloon, and plus it's got huge inertia. It's already kind of looking forward and inviting you. We got one of Airship, I was quite driving Airship and construction when we start flying. It's small Airship, it's just 160 foot long. And it's with Airship, it's mini Airship, 160 foot. But when you will be in flight, you will realize how stable it is. Because gas hit, and it takes for a while for aircraft to recognize it was hit by gas. You can basically achieve something absolutely unique. No, because today we can predict the gas, we can see much more and more. Right? And because I know the gas coming, I can provide the control that you never will be feel it. But it's nature. It's nature of the airship. They naturally safe. It's like big ship. Only this big ship in the ocean, you got the hull, and if you not make it to the shore, you can have some problems. But with airship, the pressure inside very low. It's when we got the hull to helium to escape. It's a long time. Enough to make the landing and select the point. By safety, it's the most safe way of transportation.
One more question.
What is the life of the service life of the airframe, and do you have to reskin it for like a rebuild?
In our approach, because we don't have traditional fatigue, like on the transport category airplanes, because we're going to the cycles, we're doing on condition. Not the time, no, of course you got overhaul for propulsion system, on the time some of the consumables, on the time scale, but rest is on condition. Basically what it's saying, I'm going to test at my skin once a year to verify its continuing airworthiness. Because the lifetime is dependent on many, it is flying in high UV condition, sitting in Arizona or somewhere else, right? But versus the airplane, it's all on condition. Yeah, please.
Sorry. How long can this stay in the air? And is there a way for it to stay in the air indefinitely?
Yeah. Yes.
So it doesn't need to land?
This is exactly what we're trying to achieve. We clearly understand. We're designing airship, we designed this airship for never land. We understand it's not going to happen from the beginning. But if you got this capacity and you're learning more and more, because ideally, in the end, where you need to land, how often the big container ship going to dry dock? Almost never. Same here. The refueling, right, is what, for refueling we got the fuel cells, no, I mean the fuel tanks are cells. Let's go a little, imagine, right, we got our drones. And so flying, drop the empty cell down and pick up the refueling. You can do this. It's a lot of options, but it's absolutely believer. You need to design for never learn from beginning.
How about, will you talk a little bit about gaseous hydrogen as opposed to helium?
Look, hydrogen, let me put it this way, it will be hydrogen as lifting gas. It will be hydrogen. The story of Hindenburg is more line of the public policy than safety issue. When we was doing our prototype, we already was convinced FAA we was mix helium with hydrogen. European authority, they in this way more progressive than FAA. And they already put, they're not saying anymore you cannot use flammable gas. They're saying in their regulation, they're saying prove us it's safe. In FAA we still have no flammable gas. But because of aviation and our kind of work with FAA, again, it will take the time. It will be, technically we can prove it's safe. But until hydrogen economy grow and people realize hydrogen is okay, right? We got in our cars the gasoline fumes. It's much worse than hydrogen. But hydrogen is okay. You just don't mix it, and if you mix it, know what you're doing. And Hindenburg story, there's a number of the versions. One of them, it's like, first of all, you can imagine the bags inside of Hindenburg, they was making from cow bladder. They was leaking, because they was leaking. The skin of Hindenburg was covered with aluminum. It's static electricity. Basically what happened there, before landing, and it was coming through the storm, it's picked up static electricity. And one of the bags was leaking. There was no sense to realize concentrating, hydrogen was concentrating, and static electricity. But if you look from the casualty standpoint, it's like only less than 30 people died. And we're talking about 100 years ago, when it was nothing. The rest of the people walk out. And one of the advantages of the hydrogen, because lighter than air, it's just going up very fast. You don't have like jet fuel, right, all around. It's just gone. But yes, it's more about public. It's more about public than technical. But yes, absolutely, hydrogen. Same as propulsion system, right? Is our propulsion system on hydrogen. Basically, it's simply saying it's APU running on the hydrogen, and you got electrical motor, electrical distributional system. But fuel is the hydrogen, right? Yes.
What's your severe weather mitigation strategy? Some of these look like they're going to be big enough that you just can't park them and hide them somewhere if there's a hurricane or a large windstorm.
I'll give you an example. 100 years ago, before radars, before prediction, before anything, the Zeppelin was flying from Japan to United States, flying from Germany to New Jersey. Never been behind of schedule. The reason why, because it's like ship in the ocean, right? It's somewhere storm coming, ship avoiding, or just stay waiting until it's passed. Here, same, only in addition, we can go ups and down. We can wait, we can avoid, we can go higher, we can go lower. And again, and the way I was mentioning the flight of country settling from Japan, in this flight, because they already was got some knowledge of the wind, they was achieved 220 km/h speed, because they already was knowing the wind and they was utilizing. Today we know much more about winds, we got much more knowledge, plus we can, using the LiDAR, we can see the wind profile a couple of kilometers left and right and up and down. And assumption is, no one tested this in real life, but there's pretty good theory. We'll use
In the past century, the way customers get their deliveries.
we will use our wind weather for advantage. But of course, you don't want to go through thunderstorm. Yes, you can. Right? But outside of Hollywood movies, you don't want to go. After this inspection,
I noticed in the previous screen you have a comparison of your blend with the Antonov AM-225. You were comparing the payload because
you're absolutely right. No, 224 ton, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a ton of what? It's 125. Right? It's a lot. But again, the biggest point, and you will see if you go to our webpage, we always emphasize the volume of cargo compartment and how much floor. This is in today's economy, this is the main. It's not the pure payload. We're working with a number of the cargo airlines. And, they never flying anymore at full payload. They run out of the space, and they can do everything become lighter. It doesn't matter what you're moving. And especially air freight usually is very expensive cargo. It's light. Flowers, it's light, it's everything light. It's completely changed. It's not moving anymore, something here. And again, 124 or C5 or C-17 was designing as the military cargo plane for tanks. Not for, yes, for the regular cargo. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to, what we need to do now?
Divide people in 3 groups.
Okay. We'll give you some tour, right? We're going to see some funny stuff, some of our toys, and I'll be continue answering for your questions when we see the toys. We're going to, where's Vanessa? Oh, she's there, right? Vanessa will show to you the Skydragon construction. Our blink, what is, we already invite you for go to the flights on this. What else are you going to show? It's good enough. Kelly, of course, she knows everything. I don't want to say what she showed because yeah. Okay, how are we doing this? Yeah.
First group. Who wants to start with
In the past century, the way customers get their deliveries has evolved.
Who wants to start with flight simulator?
Yeah, we got the flight simulator. Yeah.
Okay. Whoever wants to start with flight simulator is group 1.